Well, we have no concern about the contract being finalized. We're just working to finalize the contracts.
With more at-home COVID test kits on the horizon, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on Thursday said the administration is working to finalize contracts for orders of the tests, but said she had no doubt deals will be struck. That's after President Joe Biden this week said 500 million free at-home rapid tests will be available to Americans starting in January.
What I know here is that we expect to get the first set of the 500 million in early January, and we expect that the rest will come in the weeks to follow.
But with the Omicron variant raging across the country, some health experts say Biden's efforts to distribute the test kits are too little too late. The number of tests promised by the White House equate to just 1 or 2 per U.S. resident, with some health experts saying far more are needed for Americans to make daily decisions about their lives. Asked about the shortage of tests in an interview with ABC this week, Biden said he wished he had thought of ordering 500 million at-home tests 2 months ago. But on Thursday, Psaki defended the administration's track record on COVID testing, saying it took steps to build up the market.
What the president did with the Defense Production Act is to do exactly that, investing $3 billion several months ago to make sure we were building up the market, to make sure we had the capacity. There wouldn't have been 500 billion tests to order several months ago.
State and local leaders in New York, where Omicron is surging, said they supported Biden's approach. On Thursday, hundreds of New Yorkers waited in line at pop-up locations to snag coveted at-home tests before the holidays.
I've been waiting for almost 3 hours, actually no, 2 hours out in this line. You know, it's great. I got my test.
And more will be handed out to eager residents in the coming days.
Find the defendant guilty.
A Minnesota jury on Thursday found former police officer Kimberly Potter guilty of first-degree and second-degree manslaughter in the fatal shooting of Daunte Wright, a black man, during a traffic stop. Potter, who broke down last week on the stand as she testified to her remorse for the shooting, showed little emotion as the verdict was read. She was taken away in handcuffs after the judge rejected her attorney's plea for her to be allowed to spend Christmas with family. The basic facts of the incident, which were caught on Potter's body-worn camera, were for the most part not in dispute. Both prosecutors and the defense attorneys agreed that Potter mistakenly drew her gun instead of her taser. At issue was whether the jury would find her actions to be reckless in violation of the state's manslaughter statutes or chalk up the incident to a tragic mistake that did not warrant criminal liability. The jury, which agreed to the lesser second-degree charge on Tuesday and took 2 additional days to reach consensus on first-degree manslaughter, went against the expectations of some legal experts who predicted an acquittal or deadlock resulting in mistrial. Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump and 2 other lawyers for the Wright family expressed relief at the verdict, saying it brought a measure of accountability for an unnecessary and overreaching tragic traffic stop that led to Wright's death. The first and second-degree manslaughter charges carry maximum sentences of 15 and 10 years, respectively. Potter is scheduled to be sentenced on February 18th. Nearly 4 years after being accused of sexual misconduct, Oscar-nominated actor James Franco broke his silence on the claims, saying a sex addiction led him to sleep with students at an acting school he once ran. In excerpts from the Jess Cagle podcast made public this week, Franco said that while teaching, he, quote, did sleep with students, and that was wrong. He said he did not start the school to lure women for sex. In 2018, the Los Angeles Times reported 5 women had accused Franco of inappropriate conduct. In 2019, 2 women filed a civil suit against the star, accusing him of exploiting aspiring actors at his now-defunct school and duping young women into shooting explicit sex scenes. Franco said he developed a sex addiction after he became sober from an alcohol addiction he developed at a young age. He agreed this year to pay $2.2 million to settle the 2019 civil lawsuit, according to documents filed in Los Angeles Superior Court. In the podcast interview, Franco said he has been in recovery from sex addiction since 2016 and has been doing a lot of work to change who he was after the allegations against him.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Thursday authorized Merck's antiviral pill for COVID-19, a day after giving the go-ahead to a similar but more effective treatment from Pfizer.
We want to remind people that these drugs are not substitutions for getting vaccinated.
On a call with reporters, the FDA said both pills also worked against the fast-spreading Omicron variant, which is now dominant in the United States.
So the available data that we have indicates that both Paxlovid and molnupiravir are effective against Omicron.
Merck's molnupiravir, which is for treating mild to moderate COVID-19 in certain high-risk adult patients, was shown to reduce hospitalizations and deaths by around 30% in a clinical trial. Pfizer's pill Paxlovid was authorized on Wednesday for people 12 and older, and clinical trial data showed it was nearly 90% effective in preventing hospitalizations and deaths in patients at high risk of severe illness.
The oral medications authorized this week are designed to stop the virus from replicating and can be prescribed for at-home use.
The FDA said Merck's COVID pill is not authorized for use in patients younger than 18 because it may affect bone and cartilage growth and is not recommended for use during pregnancy. The drug is meant to be taken twice a day, 4 pills each time for 5 days, making a full course of treatment 40 pills. Stocks rose sharply for a third straight session on Thursday after more encouraging news in the fight against the Omicron variant, lifting investors' spirits ahead of the Christmas break, and the S&P 500 to a record high close. The 3 straight days of gains across Wall Street's main indexes followed 3 days of losses. Jamie Desmond, the chief operating officer at Ladenburg Asset Management, said the bounce back is proof of the market's resiliency.
Well, I think this pattern of volatility is pretty consistent with what we've experienced all year, and quite frankly, about a year and a half now. So we've had positive news come out economically, but if the headlines were led by COVID and the Omicron variant, then they seem to dominate, quite frankly, the market performance. So what we've proven time and time again is that the market is resilient. The consumer is resilient, and despite any negative headlines, although they may shake us for a day or two, overall, the economy is strong and growing and recovering, and we see that it just takes a few days to bounce back.
Vaccine makers AstraZeneca and Novavax said their shots protected against Omicron, as UK data suggested it may cause proportionally fewer hospital cases than the Delta variant, though public health experts warned that the battle against COVID-19 was far from over. In another medical development against the pandemic, the FDA authorized Merck's antiviral pill for COVID-19 for certain high-risk adult patients, a day after giving a broader go-ahead to a similar but more effective treatment from Pfizer. While the news may have boosted stocks broadly, shares of both Merck and Pfizer fell, down roughly 0.5% and almost 1.5%, respectively. Shares of Tesla, meanwhile, jumped for a second straight day after CEO Elon Musk said on Wednesday he was almost done with his stock sales after selling over $15 billion worth since early November. The stock market will be closed on Friday in observance of the Christmas holiday.